money, corruption, power, ego, and the crypto industry. As most of you know, BlockFi just received a $250 million loan from a very, very large company in the crypto space. This can be problematic to some people. And one of the reasons why is because crypto is supposed to be decentralized. We're supposed to operate in a true decentralized economy. But we're starting to see a lot of resemblances between traditional finance, traditional public servants come into the crypto space. Bitcoin was created to give people a better quality of life so you can have access to your money and do what you want with it. And the same with altcoins. And we're starting to see this weird shift in 2022 from the original ethos of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So without further ado, let's kind of discuss a little bit as to why this loan bailout from FTX to BlockFi is so important, but also very problematic for the entire crypto industry. Welcome back to the O Show, everything crypto and NFTs every day. Please make sure to like, leave a comment, subscribe, and set alerts. That helps to push me out to the world of YouTube and to other entities as well. Also follow me Twitter and TikTok for more crypto and NFT breaking news and a little bit of sass and pettiness. Anyways, let's first start with the announcement from Mr. Sam. And Sam is actually somebody that I consider a friend and somebody I have a lot of respect for in the industry. He tweeted today at approximately 8:26 a.m. Date is June 21st, 2022. And this also segues into Three Arrows Capital, Celsius, and some other interesting things in the space. But hold up. Let's get through all of this. Today, we're injecting $250 million into BlockFi and partnering with them so they can navigate the market from a position of strength. And he goes on to further say, BlockFi has careful risk management and great leadership, so they successfully moved at-risk counterparties preemptively. So basically this means that they were in a little bit of hot water with some third parties, possibly somebody that may have invested, cough, Three Arrows, I believe, and probably some other entities that pawn themselves out as investors and whatnot, because there's a lot of that shadiness that happens in the industry, and we see it all the time from my end. A lot of people claiming they're well-versed in traditional finance and they know how to invest and they want to be VCs when in fact they're just here for the money grab. Anyways, BlockFi customer assets are appropriately managed with no debt risk from 3AC, Celsius, and ETC. I do remember seeing something about BlockFi from Three Arrows Capital, so maybe I could be wrong here, or they pulled out, whatever. Anyways, sometimes leadership means acting decisively, and that's what BlockFi did, removing troublesome counterparties before they become a problem, adding cash before it was necessary. This is because a lot of how these companies operate, like BlockFi, I'm not saying BlockFi did this, but basically what they did is they took their assets and they put it into other high-yield products. Celsius did this, and there's proof on chain that they did it. And also too, with a lot of the market volatility, we're seeing a lot of these companies that were offering these yields to people be in a lot of trouble. Let's keep reading them. BlockFi is financially strong while operations are normal, and they always have been, and assets are safe. And going forward, we're excited to partner with BlockFi to offer industry-leading products. We take our duty seriously to protect the digital ecosystem and its customers. So now let's go read this tweet from BlockFi from Mr. Zach. Today, BlockFi signed a term sheet with FTX official and secured $250 million revolving credit facility, providing us with access to capital that further bolsters our balance sheet and platform strength. Basically, BlockFi participated in some activities or didn't manage their books properly, and they're in a little bit of trouble. We're also seeing Celsius become in a little bit of trouble as well, with them freezing their funds. So one of the things that I want to do now is I want to talk to you guys about why I like products and services like BlockFi and Celsius. They allow average people to obtain loans very, very, very easily. And this is so important. This is what crypto's about. It's about the underdog having access access to traditional financial products that they're not allowed to get without crypto and decentralization, okay? And that's problematic for me. As a small business, you don't get to walk into a bank, especially in LA County, and pull a loan out, but the banks will sit there and give you a loan for cars, for student loan debt, mortgages, all kinds of stuff. Hell, they'll even give you a loan. They'll approve a loan to pay off your credit card debt that they pushed on you, and that's okay. But they won't give small businesses loans. That's problematic to me. And platforms like BlockFi and Celsius allow for you to get loans. And I love that. I think that's a beautiful aspect of crypto. However, a lot of these people didn't manage their books properly and they participated in risky activities. Is that problematic? Yes and no. It's problematic because there's customer funds at stake, but at the same time, you have to look at the risk versus reward, the opportunity cost there. You want to be able to have access without these protective entities like the SEC or whomever it may concern. I like to use the SEC as an example because I think they're absolutely ridiculous. But at the same time, we want to have free access to our money and free control, but then we cry when things don't go our way. And it's a double-edged sword with crypto. And I know that what I'm saying does sound a little bit harsh, but you have to understand, I'm from the streets. And there's a lot of lawlessness that occurs there. But at the same time, people can be made whole at times. So it's a give and take thing. And that's one of the reasons why I'm drawn to crypto is because I believe in self-sovereignty and I believe in accountability and people making up their own decisions and understanding the risks. And part of the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is once you read the Bitcoin white paper, you really start to question all these predatory practices that happen. But anyways, let's go ahead and get back to some of the interesting things that FTX has done. So FTX, they have an F ton of money, a lot of money. And what they're doing is they went ahead and they bailed BlockFi out because there's problems. There's rumors about BlockFi being insolvent, etc. And they probably figured this was a good idea for them. Now, where does Celsius come into play? Well, let's go ahead. Before we do that, let's look at some of the other things that FTX has done as being a part of the community. And this is from Financial Magnets. FTX acquires Alberta-based crypto platform, Bitvo. And it's a restricted broker-dealer in Canada. The firm is based in Alberta, Canada. So FTX dumped money into them. Over here, FTX unit buys stock clearing platform embedded to expand equity trading infrastructure. The acquisition is intended to aid FTX US equity trading ambitions. BlockFi receives $250 million credit facility from FTX. Voyager had also received money from FTX as well. Crypto exchange FTX quickly shops for brokerage startups amid move into stock trading, sources say. The hunt for deals come across as the cryptocurrency exchange moves into stock trading and its CEO buys a major stake in Robinhood. Bankman-Fried's Alameda lends $485 million to crypto's Voyager. Voyager is another platform that gives you passive income back by holding cryptocurrency on the exchange. And then this one over here. FTX lures blue chip investors in funding round. Valium Crypto Group at $25 billion. BlackRock, Sequoia, and Ontario Teachers Pensions took part in $420 million deal. So, what's going on here? Why is this happening? Why is FTX acting as some sort of a monopoly? And I'm also going to talk to you about a little bit of street logic I learned. You do a favor for somebody. You help somebody out. You give them money. You do anything. You provide them a meal. You give them a couch to sleep on. There's always something that is expected to be given back in return. Nothing in this world is free. It's always important to know who you're doing business with and who you're shaking hands with because there's always something to be expected. It might not be public at the time, always something to be expected. FTX has their hands in a lot of different things. Business-wise, amazing. It's very, very smart and it's very strategic. Ethically, is that okay though? Because we're trying to operate in a true decentralized economy and that's not what's happening. We got people with a lot of money coming in and brokering deals with all these different entities, so it can be problematic. Now, FTX is also, Sam was a very, very large Biden donor. So FTX is not only doing brokering deals with traditional financial companies and firms, crypto companies and firms, but the government. They also have a decent stake in Circle, USDC. I personally believe that USDC is going to be the CBDC of the United States of America because Americans are very lazy, especially our public servants. And this is a direct reflection on what we're taught in school and how our economy operates. And it is what it is. And that's why Bitcoin is such an amazing tool because it forces you to really think and use critical thinking. So now, we see FTX has got money. They're coming in. They're helping people that are doing all of these things. That's good, but it's also bad. And that means that these companies have allegiance to FTX because they're giving them money. Some would argue no. I would argue yes. Is it a bad thing though? That's up for you to decide. It's for you to take the information I've given you and to come up with, use critical thinking, use your brains and see if this is a good or bad idea. Now the question remaining is, Celsius currently has a liquidation price for the wrapped Bitcoin, I believe, at approximately $13,000. So if Bitcoin drops to $13,000, Celsius's position will be liquidated. I think it's wrapped Bitcoin. Don't quote me on that. Look at that yourself. This position will be liquidated, and then in return, Celsius customers could lose their funds. My next question is, will Sam step in and help Celsius? Will Alex allow a third party to step in and help him? This is all tied together. And we're going to cover a story later on talking about how the demise of Celsius or the insolvency or whatever's happening, because we don't know what's happening with Celsius, is going to directly affect laws and legislation. We know that FTX has got money and they're throwing it around at all these companies. We know that they're a big Biden donor. We know that they're part of Circle USDC. Could this behavior be a ploy to help dictate what type of regulation is put into play in the crypto economy? That's what I'm thinking all this leads back to, because I like to follow the money. And maybe Sam's being a good servant. Maybe he's being a great public servant. He's helping people. He really, really cares. He doesn't want these companies to go under. Or maybe he has other ideas for these companies and he wants them to be a part of FTX, or he just wants favors in the long term. Who knows really what the story is? I'm just putting all of these pieces together, especially the fact it's very interesting that we have BlackRock associated in crypto now, which I believe in the past we have slammed them. Either way, I wanted to create something and push this back onto you and put the responsibility back onto you, the viewer. What do you think the intentions of FTX, Alameda Research, and Sam are with all of this investing and saving and bailing out of crypto companies? I personally don't want anybody to lose money any way, shape, or form, but at the same time, I want to know what the intentions are or why. Because I don't want to broker a deal with anybody unless I know their intentions. And best believe I'm not brokering a deal with you if you think that I'm going to do you a favor for brokering this deal for you. Use critical thinking, watch this video, look at different resources, and come back and comment what you think is happening and why it's happening. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.